Hello. Our Old Testament reading for last Sunday, the first of Lent, is from Genesis chapter 9, verses 8 to 17. Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, I now establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals, and those that came out of the ark with you, every living creature on earth, I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, This is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and every living creature with you, a covenant for all generations to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life. Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures of every kind on the earth. So God said to Noah, This is the sign of the covenant I have established between me and all life on the earth. I'm a Morris dancer. I'll let that sink in. Yes, I not only dance the Morris, I admit to it. So when I read in Monday's paper about the discovery of an ancient Egyptian brewing vat for the production of beer, my interest was instantly aroused. After all, dancing is thirsty work, and you can't always trust the water. At least 4,000 years old, these vats demonstrate the sacred nature of beer and its links to rituals that predate, well, everything historical in the Bible. And I'm a storyteller too. Here I am in my chair. Creation stories from Native American tribes, Australian Aborigines, Greece, Rome, ancient Egypt. The tales are fascinating and full of similarities. Order from chaos, humanity as the crowning glory, disobedience and rebellion, promises made and promises broken. So, the ancient beer vats reminded me of a story about the sun god Ra. In it, he uses the eye of Ra as a weapon against humans who've rebelled against his authority. He sends the eye, manifested as a lion goddess, Sekhmet, to massacre the people. She eagerly sets about it, but after the first day of her rampage, Ra changes his mind and decides to save humanity after all. He orders that beer be dyed red and poured out in a flood over the land. Sekhmet drinks the beer, mistaking it for blood. Getting so drunk, she forgets her murderous mission and returns to heaven. And let's not forget that drink and drunkenness form a part of the Noah story too. Only 3 verses after hearing God pledge the covenant never to destroy the earth, we read that Noah, a man of the soil, proceeded to plant a vineyard. When he drank some of its wine, he became drunk and lay uncovered inside his tent. The way his sons react brings strife and discord so soon. The end of the great flood story can seem a bit dry and legalistic. Covenant this and covenant that, as if Roald Dahl mixed up one of his fantasies with his house conveyance and then sent the lot to the printers. And yet, it's this ending that is the whole point of the story. No matter whether there was a great flood or a prowling lioness goddess or Pandora's box of ills, there must be a contract between gods and men, and it must be seen to exist. So what is a covenant? It's a solemn promise to engage in or refrain from some specified action. It's a formal agreement and it requires a seal or a sign, hence the rainbow. Hence circumcision as the sign of the covenant with Abraham, the Ark of the Covenant carrying the law given to Moses. There it is for all to see, the outward sign of a pact between heaven and earth. Now, the thing about being an off-duty Morris dancer and storyteller is that usually folk pass me in the street and never guess the truth. A beard, a pot belly and a tankard might give you a clue, but there's only really an outward sign if I'm in role, in my kit, as we call it. Then if you saw me, or Dean Clark or Mike and Anne Finn, to out a few other local dancers, there'd be no doubting that I dance the Morris. To be absolutely sure about someone, you're looking for signs. So here we are in Lent, and I'm banging on about beer. What outward signs am I showing that indicate a solemn promise exists between me and God? Did I even manage to make the sign of the cross in ash on my forehead last Wednesday? Well, actually, yes, thanks to Calantha and her bonfire, I did. I'm going to suggest that the best sign I can give and you can give to our families, our neighbours, the folks delivering stuff to our doors, is to get a bit drunk. Now, I don't mean get tiddly on lunchtime vino. I don't mean announce an early beer o'clock. Here comes the corny punchline, so say it with me. Let's get drunk on the Holy Spirit. Let's get a skinful of the Psalms. Let's take a big gulp of Corinthians. Maybe even binge watch all the services and reflections that West Worcester Beacon has brewed and poured out over the past year. Letting the Holy Spirit open up the signs of God's love in creation and in humanity can make you a bit giddy. It might even spill over into other parts of your life, revealing truths in the books you read, the radio you listen to, the TV you watch, and the conversations you have. I watched a film the other day with Alison, The White Tiger, on Netflix. I can recommend it, and it really, really spoke to me about my situation. Open yourself up and have another, and then another. You'll be staggered how good it tastes. Cheers.